Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Fountain Park. We are the Sheboygan Pops Concert Band, and we're delighted that you've joined us here on this beautiful summer evening for this Twilight Concert series brought to you by the Chamber of Commerce through the generous support of the Sheboygan business community. A special welcome to those of you who are visitors to the city of Sheboygan tonight. Do we have any people, let's see a show of hands, who this is your very first Sheboygan Pops concert? Great, thank you for joining us. We're delighted tonight to have some other performers joining us, and those will be dancers and twirlers from the Diane Remy School of Dance and Baton. As we begin, just a few introductions. I'm going to be introducing our pieces tonight. My name is Mary Schiller. And this evening, we will be under the baton of our associate conductor, Mr. Alan Bruce. Al? I also want to introduce to you the president of the Sheboygan Pops Concert Band, and she plays in the clarinet section of our band. Her name is Ronnie Anderson. Ronnie? Typically, we begin each concert with the Star-Spangled Banner, but tonight we're going to deviate from that slightly. We're going to play another patriotic number, and that would be America the Beautiful. This particular arrangement is by Carmen Dragan. Some of you might be familiar with that name. A lot of people associate him, or know the name simply because his son was a famous person also. He was Daryl Dragan, one half of the combo of the Captain and Tennille. But Carmen Dragan himself was quite an accomplished musician. He was a conductor, a music director, a film composer, a recording artist, an Oscar winner, an Emmy winner, and he actually earned a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame for his 5,000 hours of radio broadcasts. So we have a very beautiful arrangement by Carmen Dragan of America the Beautiful, and its balletic choreography was originally set to a composition by pianist Lori Line, and it's now to America the Beautiful. The dancers on this piece are Isabella Fuentes de Ream, Brooklyn Landgraf, Rachel Wiggin, and Andrea Martin. America the Beautiful. We have a wide variety of music to present for you this evening, and as you can see, we're getting arranged here to have a member of our brass section, Mr. James Bolgert, come forward, and he is going to play a euphonium solo entitled Willow Echoes. It was composed by Frank Simon, originally was written actually as a cornet solo. So we present for you now Jim Bolgert, Willow Echoes. We probably have a few people in our audience who can remember back to 1956, and that's when this musical debuted, My Fair Lady. It was based, of course, on George Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion, with the book and lyrics actually by Alan J. Lerner, and the music by Frederick Lau. And it concerns Eliza Doolittle, a Cockney flower girl, who takes speech lessons from Professor Henry Higgins, phoneticist, so that she can pass as a lady. The Broadway production in 1956 was a huge success, setting what was then the record for the longest run of any major musical theater production in history. It was followed by a hit London production, and there was a popular film version, and numerous other revivals. One person described it as the perfect musical. Some of the numbers from My Fair Lady are With a Little Bit of Luck, The Rain in Spain, I Could Have Danced All Night, Get Me to the Church on Time, A Hymn to Him, and I've Grown Accustomed to Her Face. So we present highlights from My Fair Lady. Going back to the early days of the circus train was the main way of travel. And driven by our Casey Jones conductor, dancer James Martin, and Julia Wiggin, we're going to play the musical piece Gallop, Light and Gay. This is going to be immediately followed by a second piece entitled Host of Freedom. The prize animal of the show are the penguins dancing the shuffle to this circus march, which is by Carl King. So those dancers are going to be Mara and Megan Wolfel, Ellen Coiler, Carolina Raymaker, and Lillian Hanman. Gallop, Light and Gay, and Hosts of Freedom. Certainly these young men and women do a wonderful job out here, and one of the things you should know is that they never rehearse with us. They practice their dance steps with some recorded music, and depending on how fast Al takes the tempo, they just have to go with it. So they really do a splendid job. Thank you. Speaking of Al, I think I should say a few words about him. Normally, Neil Monke is at the podium. Neil is our conductor, but he happens to be out of town this week, so we're very delighted that our associate conductor, Al, is with us. Al normally plays in the French horn section of our band, and he was born and raised here in Sheboygan. He received both his bachelor's and his master's degree in music from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And he really has devoted his whole life to music. He taught band at D.C. Everest Junior High School, which is up in Marathon County, for 35 years. He's retired from that job. But in addition to that, he's done many, many musical things. In 1972, he organized the Wausau Story Drum and Bugle Corps. And actually, in 1976, that group won the DCI Class A National Championship in Philadelphia. He's been a long-time adjudicator for Drum Corps International. He directed the Wausau Concert Band for 19 years. He co-founded and was the director of the Mosinee Community Band for 13 years. He directed many musicals for the Wausau Community Theater and also the Central Wisconsin Children's Theater. He currently directs the church choir as well as the bell choir at St. Mark's Lutheran here in Sheboygan. In addition to playing in our band and being our associate conductor, he currently plays with the Plymouth Municipal Band, the Alloway Village Band, and also the German Heritage Band. In his spare time, as if he doesn't have enough to do, he does some substitute teaching. He also plays in the pit orchestra. If any of you saw the recent Sheboygan Theater production of Oliver, he was playing in that. Last weekend, he was down at Random Lake. Lakeshore Productions Incorporated put on South Pacific. He was doing the pit orchestra there, too. In addition, you should know that today is Al's birthday. So I think we should all sing happy birthday to Al. Please join us. So, congratulations. We wish you many, many more. And he's not going to tell us how old he is. Okay. Let's continue now with Alley Cat. And this, of course, is a popular instrumental song. It was made most famous by a Danish pianist and composer who wrote the tune under the pseudonym of Frank Bjorn. It was released in 1962. It won a Grammy Award for Best Rock and Roll Recording during the 5th Grammy Awards. It sold over 1 million copies, was awarded a gold disc. This particular arrangement of Alley Cat is by Bill Miller. Alley Cat. Phi Mu Alpha Sinfonia Fraternity of America, which is also known as Phi Mu Alpha Symphonia, Phi Mu Alpha, or simply Symphonia, is an American collegiate social fraternity for men with a special interest in music. It's been around for a very long time. It actually originated 1898 in Boston at the New England Conservatory of Music. It has initiated more than 150,000 members, and those members are known as Sinfonians, and the fraternity currently has over 7,000 active collegiate members in 248 different chapters throughout the United States. If you go to their webpage and look up what their mission is, it states, "The object of this fraternity shall be the development of the best and truest fraternal spirit, the mutual welfare and brotherhood of musical students, the advancement of music in America, and a loyalty to the alma mater." We happen to have 3 members in our band tonight that are Sinfonians, so they certainly embody this, being concerned about the welfare and brotherhood of musical students, the advancement of music in America, and a loyalty to their alma mater. So I would ask those 3 gentlemen to stand. Al Bruce, Mike Mello, and Bill Hughes. Neil Monkey, our conductor, who is not here tonight, is also a symphonian. So we have a symphonic march entitled The Symphonians Concert March by Clifton Williams to present for you now. It's time for a little workout for our woodwind section of the band with Eric Osterling's composition, Waltzing Winds. It's of the ballet or skating type of waltz. Osterling was a contemporary composer. He actually died in 2005, so not too long ago. Very prolific composer, more than 600 musical publications to his credit. But this one seems to fit so perfectly with the movements of ballet that you would think that it was written specifically for the dance. The dancers that you will see performing in this number are Izzy Skripensky, Isabella Hanman, Ava Raymaker, and Cambria Deer. Waltzing Winds. If you've joined us for other concerts this summer series, you know that at each concert we've been playing one Walt Disney number. So this is our token Walt Disney number for the night. And it's perhaps one that's not quite as familiar to many people. 1997 was the year that the animated musical fantasy film Hercules was released by Walt Disney Pictures. And it actually was the 35th animated feature in the Walt Disney Animated Classics series. And although it didn't meet the same financial success as many other Disney movies did during the 1990s, it did have very positive reviews, and it made $99 million in revenue in the United States during its theatrical release. So 99 million, that's not too bad. The arrangement we're going to play for you this evening is by John Moss, and it includes The Gospel Truth, One Last Hope, Go the Distance, and Zero to Hero. Hercules. Strike Up the Band is a 1927 song composed by George Gershwin with lyrics by Ira Gershwin. It was written for the 1927 musical Strike Up the Band, where it formed the where it formed part of a satire on war and militaristic music. Although the musical itself wasn't really very successful, certainly the instrumental version of the song was. Interestingly, the song, Strike Up the Band, was given by the Gershwins to the University of California, Los Angeles in 1936 as Strike Up the Band for UCLA, and it has become one of their school songs. We present for you now, Strike Up the Band. When thinking of Spanish dance, often what comes to mind is sounds of flamenco footwork, and along with that, guitar and castanets. The piece we have to present for you now is entitled Brasilia, and the dancers that you will see performing this number are Isabel Fuentes de Ream, Brooklyn Landgraf, Rachel Wiggin, and Andrea Martin. Of course, they're going to add the use of the Spanish shawl, showing off its flow and beauty. So we present for you now, Brasilia. Certainly the Sheboygan Pops Concert Band has played a lot of marches over the years, but I'm not sure that I ever played a march by a French composer, and that's what we have for you now. It's a piece written by the French composer Louis Gaston Ganet. He was born in 1862. He grew up in the suburbs of Paris. His formal musical training was at the Paris Conservatory, and he died there in Paris in 1923. And Ganet is well known in his native France, but probably less so outside of the country. Um, he was a composer of French operas, operettas, ballets, but he's probably best recognized for his popular patriotic marches. And his two most famous marches were Marche Lorraine, which during World War II was actually the march of the Free French and their allies. And then the march we're going to play for you now. It's entitled La Père de la Victoire. And if you translate that, that means Father Victory and means victory personified. So, La Père de la Victoire. I think it's time for a little audience participation. You've been watching others dance, so this is your opportunity to get up and dance. We're going to play for you now the chicken dance. And I know there's some young people out there that would love to come to the front and do that. If you're thinking that this song, does anybody know about the roots of this song? You're probably thinking, oh, this probably originated with some polka band in Wisconsin, and since then we've heard it at every wedding we've been to, right? Actually, you're wrong, if that's what you think. It has international roots. It was actually composed back in the 1950s by an accordion player in Switzerland. His name was Werner Thomas. And the name of the original Swiss song was The Duck Dance. And it was rumored to be a drinking song sung at Oktoberfest. And the composer, Thomas, he performed it frequently, and there was actually this gentleman from Belgium who happened to hear the song, and he had some lyrics created for it, and in 1970, that gentleman, he owned a music publishing company, and he published it under the pen name of Terry Randall, so you might see that name associated with it. So we invite you now to participate in the chicken dance. Next we have an arrangement by Warren Barker of some Scottish tunes to perform for you. It's a medley of 5 different songs. Begins with the well-known tune Loch Lomond, and that's followed by the beautiful Scottish melody Annie Laurie. And then you're going to hear a very spirited Coming Through the Rye, and then the lovely ballad The Bluebell of Scotland, and then it finishes with The Campbells Are Coming. So we present for you a Warren Barker arrangement of A Highland Fling.